All right.
Welcome. Potawatomi.
Was there a deaf person sitting in this seat?
Carmen.
Yeah. Is it hot as balls in here?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
There it is.
Is it hot as balls in here?
So it was you. It was you that I had to have. It was you all along.
There was what?
Yeah, I thought it was Sylvie that I had to pull the knife out of my back.
What are you talking about? I'm honoring my late father-in-law.
I asked you. I was like,
don't
why
take
are you
a shot
wearing
at my late father-in-law.
Waddle just took off his coat and he's wearing his father-in-law's jersey with the Patriots.
Yes.
It's Gino Cappelletti on the
Retired.
back.
I should have known someone was up when you're like, oh, I'm just cold.
But he is always cold.
Yeah, but he's come on. He's not always
Listen,
cold.
I'm honoring my late father-in-law.
I love that. I appreciate
You
that.
see his
Hall
bobbleheads
of
right
Famer.
there, too.
Hall of Famer.
Well,
Right.
no, he's in the Patriot Hall of Fame.
Oh.
He's not in the NFL Hall of Fame. Should be, but he's not.
Well, let's get him in.
All-time leading scorer in the
Let's
history
get
of
him
the
in the
NFL.
regular Hall of Fame.
I would think you would have a vested interest
Yes,
in
I know.
it.
Well, I'm going to start this. I'm going to start it right now.
Yes. Bring it up, Boston. 312-332-3776. We got Big Cat.
Little did I know, my wife lived just a few miles away from you.
Yeah, I think she babysat me.
A little too young.
All right. What the hell?
I mean, it's been a hell of a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a hell of a couple weeks.
You know, first of all, we love you.
I know you love me.
Unconditionally.
But the one thing I had my my cousin who's a loyal listener to this show texted me on Wednesday, maybe it was Wednesday, or last week, was like, Sylvie's killing you right now. I was like, what?
Friday. That was
Friday.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. No, but I know it's all love. It's been a crazy week. I just wrote a blog. Everyone go read it on barstoolsports.com. I explained it all. But yeah, so I was born and raised outside of Boston, went to University of Wisconsin, moved to Chicago in 2007. So I have family from Chicago, from Highland Park. My uncle, which I still got he passed. This is now getting rambling. My last text to my uncle, because I was looking it up last week when I was talking about it, was I don't think Mitch is the guy. So that was really sad that I looked that up, because he passed in 2019, I believe, or 2018. And so I moved here right away, obviously fell in love with the city of Chicago. I love Chicago. I was, when Dave was looking for bloggers, Chicago was always my second teams. My uncle had season tickets to the Bulls in the 90s, was friends with Phil Jackson. I still think that might've been a little lie he told me that I never was able to confirm, but I do think he was friends with them. And when I moved here, I was like, this is where I want to be for the rest of my life. They were always my second team. And when I started blogging, the first guy who got hired at Barstool Chicago, Neil, he wasn't from here originally either. He got just kind of run out of town. And so I said to Dave, I was like, do you want me to talk about this, or should I just do my work? And I'm throwing myself into all the Chicago teams. I'm like, these are my teams now. I'm rooting for them, life and death. I'm going to watch every game. And he's like, no, just go to work. And then who knew 13 years later, we'd be here, where it's like a little blog that I thought I was going to be doing by myself forever is now what Barstool Sports is. And I hope people understand that my love for Chicago is genuine. I mean, moved back here. I told you, Sylvie, I probably am the richest guy to have his kids in CPS.
I love that.
That's probably a fact.
That's such a flex.
But it's also like my love for the city of Chicago. Like, I wanted to move back here. I like when we were moved to New York to grow Barstool, I was like, I have to be back. Open the office. And yeah, I mean, it's my love for this city is genuine. I'll live here for the rest of my life. My love for the teams is genuine. I took a weird path to get here, but yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that if Barstool Neil would have said that he grew up in Highland Park and that he had an uncle that he was texting about, Mitch, that he would be sitting in your
probably
chair
not,
right
because
now?
I listen, I like Neil. He's a really good guy. I also think that, and I think a lot of people understand this, is like, I throw myself into my work. I work nonstop. I do that for people. I want to entertain people, and I want to be the voice of the fan. So that I took that very seriously, and that's where the genuine part comes in, where it's like I lived and died with everything with everyone else, and it wasn't fake or anything like that. But yeah, it's crazy that I made it so big in my head for so long that I would try to avoid it so much, and now it feels good that it's hey. I am who I am.
Barring a murder charge that you haven't told us
That's
about.
what my wife
I
told me
don't- I
last
don't
night.
care.
She's like,
I love
she was
you.
like, you didn't kill anyone.
Right.
You didn't commit a crime.
Right.
Like, you're a good person who
Yes.
helps a lot of people. Like, what do you? And I was like, yeah, I know. The
You have
internet's-
a home here, my
I know,
friend.
and I love you guys. I've always loved you guys. We've been doing this for a long time. Like the internet's a weird place, and you let something get in your head, and you let something get bigger in your head to a point that it just becomes a catastrophic thing in your mind, and you don't realize. And the silver lining of all this is, in this, I count you guys as in this. The amount of people that have reached out to me, both fans and friends, who have my back. It's like I was getting a little teary, like being like, man, you don't have those moments where you have perspective, where you're like, just stop doing what you're doing and realize that, like, how many people have your back and how many people love you.
Now I feel guilty for wearing the.
No, it's funny.
Yeah,
That's the part of it,
he's
though.
a
I got to joke about it.
If we
it can't bother me anymore.
he would be all over
But that's
us.
the
if we
thing,
did
too.
something like
That's
it.
the
No
thing.
doubt.
I ended my blog today. I said that, to quote the great Mike Ditka, who's also not from
This too
Chicago,
shall
but is
pass.
synonymous with the city of Chicago. The pass is for cowards and losers. And I said, I'm going to edit that a little. I say the pass is for cowards and losers, but if you bring up my pass, I'm not going to run for you.
Do you need us, though, to explain to you who Mike Ditka was?
Yeah, please tell me.
You know, your balls are going to be busted
Please tell
nonstop
me.
by him.
Hey, listen, Mike Ditka
Forever.
farted on me once when I went to interview him at his restaurant like
Intentionally?
9 years ago. No,
Intentionally?
he was a little. He just kind of passed by.
And he just let one go.
I told you guys this story that we went to his restaurant. I think it's 2016. I made shirts called Fist City. Remember when he said, remember when he was on Countdown and he was like, someone did that, I'd take him to Fist City. And I can't even remember what it was about. So I made
That could
Fist
get you
City
arrested,
shirts.
couldn't
Yeah.
it?
So I made the shirts and we brought him to his restaurant. We were going to interview him. I showed him the shirts. I was like, look, I got a big box of shirts. He just picked up the box. He's like, great, we'll sell them in the store. And I was like, well, that's not why I brought him, but okay, that's fine. Take them.
Let me ask you this, though. One more question on this topic that I have. Why now? Why?
Well, it was the surviving Barstool. My life was getting ripped apart.
So someone was going to rat you out?
No, I mean, Kirk, who is a coworker, listen, the surviving Barstool, I don't know if you guys have watched this. The reason they play Survivor with strangers is a good reason. We do it with coworkers, and it's completely demolished my life. And that's not even just Kirk, other friendships. That game is brutal. I don't know why I played it.
You guys are playing for keeps
yes,
that?
it's $250,000.
I was going to say, that's life changing.
I'm such an idiot for even agreeing to play in that game because I tried to play really hard and I cut some people in the throat and I stabbed some people in the back. And then I was like, wait, this makes me feel awful as a person. But that's the game. So, yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. So it all snowballed.
Look,
but I'm happy I'm here.
And look, the thing that I always say, and not that you need this from us or me or whatever, whenever someone asks me, because I get asked about you maybe more than anybody on this show, and they say, what is Big Cat like? And I always say this, and I've told you this a million times, that the day that I met you at 50-50, you were an up-and-coming blogger, and I didn't know what Barstool was. I was with Carmen. And
I remember that.
You came over to Ditka's for the shirts. And I say that the guy that I met at 50-50, you are that same guy today.
I appreciate that.
As you were. So, I will go to bat for you.
I know that.
There's, no matter how much money you've made, no matter how much fame you've achieved, there is and behind all the other stuff, there's no bigger sweetheart of a guy than you.
That.
And that's why, don't let it get to you.
I know. I'm stupid.
I'll be your radio wife right now.
I'm stupid.
Well, you're going to make jokes till the end of time.
Waddle, would you like to suck my D here now?
Oh, geez.
How about if I rub your back with lotion? How about that?
Oil me up.
I'll let him do that.
No, I very much appreciate that, Silvy, and I love you guys. You guys have stood by me for, Barstool's been through a lot of controversies where it's probably been uncomfortable for you guys to have me on, and you guys have always had my back. And I remember that stuff because there's a lot of people in the outside world who aren't fans or who have tried to take us down. And the people who are loyal to us to a fault are like those guys. I'll always have their back in turn. So.
Are you pissed at anybody?
No.
Like
No.
Ravel was tweeting today.
No, I mean, Ravel's a loser. Who cares? He's a nerd.
Listen, when you got into this business, you realized that
that's
days the wind's going to be at your back, and other days it's going to be in your face.
What I told someone the other day when they're like, "How you doing?" I was like, "Look, when you're on the internet for a living for 13 plus years." Sometimes your number gets called.
Yes.
And when your number gets called, you got to go stand in the box and take some 99-mile-an-hour heaters to the head. And that's just what I've been doing for a couple weeks.
And then you realize at the end of the day, you put it in perspective, and it is what it is.
I got 3 healthy, happy kids, and everyone in my office is happy and
a buddy that will do what you just described, and another guy that will rub your shoulders.
Exactly. So it's all good.
Every now and then you got to show your love.
And I can't like
Big Cat. Do you really have 3 kids?
Yeah, I do have 3 kids.
Wow. You know what? You stop it in there, Mel.
I'll show you.
I just don't know where the lines are blurred.
No, I have 3 children. Listen, you want one of them? I'll go down to 2. No problem. No problem. But yeah, the fans, like, that was the best part. It's like just realizing that I did make a mountain out of a molehill because people are like, dude, we have you've been entertaining us for over a decade, and we know that you're coming from a genuine place. And so that's the best because you don't really have those moments in life where you stop and feel loved a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, most importantly, how jacked are you that Vrabel's the new coach?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, right. What about Drake May's
Want him
future?
here. Yeah, man, if Drake May ends up being better than Caleb, who are we going to hire, though? Are we going to get
who are you
I mean
talking
the
about?
Bears. I mean the Bears.
I think the pendulum has swung dramatically in the direction of Mike McCarthy.
John Fox 2.0.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it
Today's the anniversary.
Is it officially
10 years
By the
ago
way, did
today.
because I said that to you guys maybe in Thanksgiving right after Eberflus got fired. It might have been right before Eberflus got fired. I was like, this is the first time I've felt like I did in the second Trestman year where it's not just bad. It's embarrassment bad.
So you need an adult in the room. So
they're going to just do the same thing. And then so we're going to hire Mike McCarthy. He's not going to do well. And then we're going to bring back Matt Nagy.
You realize, no, that's not going to happen. You realize
just go in a circle.
that John Fox was younger when they hired him than Mike McCarthy will be if they hire him. Foxy was only 60 when they hired him.
I've said so many mean things about Mike McCarthy. I'm going to have to just go back and just...
Have you ever said any of those things in his presence?
No, but I'm sure I'll interview him at some point. I'm just going to read him all the tweets.
Yeah.
Listen, Eddie said this to me when we were doing our podcast a week ago. He's like, the one good thing is we don't have a Jumbotron in Soldier Field, so we won't have the dumb, fat Mike McCarthy face when he looks up being like, I really just want to change the outcome of this play that went against us. Because I can't handle that. I can't handle that. Maybe when we have the new stadium in Arlington Heights, maybe we'll have a Jumbotron.
How do you explain? I mean, and I think a lot of people feel this way. The lack of enthusiasm for him as the selection when you compare it to his resume,
I know, which
is then compared to others like Mike Tomlin and Sean Payton and Pete Carroll.
Listen, Mike McCarthy isn't. This is what's the sick part is like. I think he's a good coach, so it's not going to be a total disaster.
He's a professional.
I would rather Mike McCarthy than Brian Flores. I'll say that.
Yeah, I agree.
Would, because I think Brian Flores has a track record. I mean, I know that everyone deserves a second chance, but the Tua thing would scare me.
I want an offensive guy.
I want an offensive guy. And Mike McCarthy, if you look at his resume, he dealt with a very difficult situation when Favre spent an entire offseason retiring and unretiring and a young quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So, like, there's stuff there that you can look at. It's just that I really wanted the Bears to take a swing for the fences and go for Ben Johnson.
Well, they may still here was what I was teasing you with. I already mentioned it on the show. What we have heard about why he's in person today, as opposed to why Vrabel wasn't and why Pete Carroll wasn't, was the Bears originally, when they reached out to him to schedule the interview, said to him, we'd like to request your interview and we do it virtually. And it was McCarthy who said to them,
"Go get her.
Let's do this in person. I want to see everything."
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well,
is that a desperate move?
No, I think he wants to press the flesh and see the building, and he's going to do as much interviewing of them as they are of him.
Because New Orleans may want to hire him. Mickey Loomis is who he worked for when he was an OC there, so he may leave the building and say, "I don't want the Bears." But I think that I don't know if they're like close to hiring Mike McCarthy simply because he's in the building.
I see what you're saying.
This isn't like they stepped on the gas all of a sudden. Because the original request
he
was
pushed it.
Yes. But again, I'm not saying that it can't turn quick, but that was the original request was, hey, can you do a virtual interview just like everyone else has?
And it goes back to what we talked about when you came to my office. We were like, Ben Johnson or Mike Vrabel would tell you that things are changing.
Yes.
Mike McCarthy won't tell you things are changing.
It's a very good point. Like, that's why maybe, I'm still trying to figure out why Mike Vrabel didn't ask for an in-person interview as well.
I think he probably already knew that he was going to the Patriots.
Yes, because if you were really interested in this team, if you're Mike Vrabel, and Mike Vrabel, I've never met Mike Vrabel, I would think he would want to press the flesh and see your building.
I think he was doing it like he interviewed with the Jets. I think that was just.
But he did that one in person.
Yeah, that's true.
This one,
while the team was practicing.
Yes,
which is very awkward.
This one was done virtually, and maybe that was. But if you're Mike Vrabel, you can say like Mike McCarthy, hey, look.
Yeah.
Why
am I doing Zoom?
Yeah, I'm going to come in and see the building. I'm not trying to be an associate CPA.
And what's the most recent reports on Ben Johnson? That it's just Raiders?
No. Schefter was again going online saying, look, there's a lot of questions on why Ben Johnson would want the Raiders.
Right.
So I don't like Caleb was on. Did you see the St. Brown podcast?
Well, I didn't see the clip, but go ahead, tell me. I saw him get faked out by someone. That was very mean.
I want to ask you if you've ever fallen for that. Have you ever fallen for a fake out by someone getting your number?
There was one time we were doing an interview and we were supposed to interview Mike Leach, RIP, and it was old school Barstool. So it was like the first office we had in New York. It was one control center and it was a podcast studio and a radio studio, but it was all done by the control center. So someone had called into the radio show and been patched through to the podcast. And we're like, hey, coach, great to have you on, Coach Wesley. And the guy did like a fake Mike Leach voice for like 5 minutes until we realized we're like, wait, this is not Mike Leach.
But you were taping, so
we were taping.
You're much more likely to be the one pranking versus getting pranked.
I don't think I've pranked on that. Like, that was messed up. That kind of hurt me.
Yeah.
That he did that.
So you don't like it when people lie to you?
Oh, there we go.
Miller, I thought
I was taking shots. Why don't you come out from behind the glass, tough guy?
You know how
I'll put you in a full Nelson. I'll put you in a full
people
Nelson.
From Boston, they don't mess around, dude.
What were you saying about Ben Johnson, though?
As far as Ben Johnson, Caleb is all in on Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people from some of the other blogs and some of the other people who say they hear stuff. I'm not sure who exactly they are. There are some burner accounts, but again, like there's still some buzz that Ben Johnson would love to be here.
I personally think that they like him and he would like to be here and Poles likes him. But I think Mike McCarthy in their building checks more of their boxes. I think that and this is just me speculating, but Big Cat, I think that there's a fear here that if they go with an unproven commodity as a head coach, that they're taking a risk that they can mitigate if they bring in a guy like Mike McCarthy.
It's just John Fox. It's literally the same hire.
With the offensive side of the ball taken care of,
but
which addresses your young quarterback.
It's just being reactive instead of proactive.
You're
reacting to a bad, hire in Eberflus and a mess of a season instead of being proactive and being like, hey, let's go get the guy who can do this.
Think about the PR they can promote on themselves.
Right.
Well, after Matt Eberflus doesn't work, we went out and got a Super Bowl winning coach who's an offensive guy who's developed Aaron Rodgers. And
the exact opposite of Eberflus in every regard.
So it gives them cover.
Yeah. I hate that.
That's
That's exactly what it is, being reactive.
If you brought up Nagy, would you rather go back to Kansas City now and say, we're going to give Nagy a second shot with Caleb, or
no? I did see there was someone
McCarthy.
tweeted it. They're like offensive mind, second chance, and like Matt Nagy's checks all the boxes that the Bears
I'll
need.
take Mike McCarthy.
If you're down on McCarthy or Nagy,
would he still get the same house with the plays on the wall?
Sure. Maybe he wouldn't do the BU anymore.
Yeah, maybe not BU.
I won't be myself.
No,
I don't.
This time it'll say B.
There's
Andy.
too much.
Yes, exactly.
It says B. Andy.
Yeah, there's too much. Just seeing his face on the sideline would be too triggering.
But if he comes every Friday during the baseball season, he has to sing at Wrigley, even if they're not there. He's got to do the seventh inning stretch.
Okay.
Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack.
It all changed.
Oh.
I think that was his downfall.
Well, yeah, that was when it all changed.
Yeah.
Also, when the double doink happened, and then he
that's
spent
true.
the entire offseason having his kickers practice from that exact spot after every practice.
Yeah,
those are minor things.
That is what I wrote. Reminds me of the coaching search.
Yeah,
is again when they panicked.
Yes.
So they doubled down on Parkey, like they doubled down in Eberflus. So like, oh no, we don't see that Parkey's an issue. We're going to go all the way through the playoffs with him. He cost them. They're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
He cost us.
Yeah.
They launch him, and what do? They bring in every kicker from every spot. They bring in 9.
Yep.
For training camp and mini camp, and they let them compete
and make it a huge thing.
And they're making him a kick from 43 yards in camp. It's a circus. And now, just like they're doing with these coaches, and like Weeder wrote in the Tribune, what does a good general manager, usually do, especially when he knows his coach could be on the hot seat? He has a short list.
Yep.
So a short list on its own is never 20 names.
Yeah.
So,
David Shaw.
Like, Poles should have had a list shorter than 20.
I know.
And now he's interviewing 20.
I know. And the interview thing, it's just, I don't understand. No one can explain to me why interviewing 20 people would make any sense. Like, what would be the rationale behind it? I know, like, no stone unturned, but we don't have to unturn David Shaw. We know what he is.
Right.
Yeah.
Or,
it's crazy.
Arthur Smith, who interviewed today.
Like, I'm a friend of Arthur Smith, so
Are
that
you?
was a good interview.
You like the mustache? You
I
think
like
it's a
the
good
mustache,
one?
strong
Yeah,
mustache.
strong
People say
mustache.
he looks like he could be passed for your dad.
Yes. We could go and I could double. I could maybe do his second round for him. That would be very funny if I showed up and I was like, "It's me, Arthur."
What would Pohl say if you showed up?
He probably wouldn't be super happy. We're working on it.
No, you should try to
We're
find your.
texting a little. We did a little text.
Oh.
The text was, I asked Florio, is it true that Ryan Poles is trying to push Ben Johnson out because Ben Johnson would fire Ryan Poles? And he just sent me a screenshot of it. He's like, where did you come up with this? And I was like, this is bad.
You should have told him once again I was intoxicated.
I was
like
just
the
like,
last time.
No, I said I was just asking the question. Obviously, it's not true.
You were just playing the just asking.
Yeah,
game.
Just asking a question.
You should try to get in whatever in the Arthur Smith family. His dad created FedEx.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like that's the guy
to forget that.
Yeah, he is independently wealthy. He doesn't need to coach.
What's in giggles.
Yeah.
He's not doing it. You could probably hire him for nothing. That may make him attractive up at Alizon.
Sometimes it looks that way. Though.
And this whole time we were talking about before, I want to play this out. You didn't hear it yet. Jim Harbaugh is the one that got away. This all could be just not having to do any of
You don't have to convince us of that.
Yeah, what did you guys think about that game? Are you buying Justin Herbert stock?
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Or explain it. Go ask him what you were saying about the AI Harbaugh. Or if
No,
it was
it's real.
No, did he send you the audio?
Yeah, it's real.
Big Cat
Harbaugh
sent
from his
the
press
audio.
conference today.
He talked about how, and I'm paraphrasing. You tell the story.
He's got the audio. I am buying Herbert stock.
Yeah.
And I said that on Sunday night. I was like, look, he had a bad game. He's had 2 bad playoff games. But if you think that guy stinks, give him to me.
Right.
I'd take him in a second.
And Harbaugh referenced Big Cat.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
He said, I think Big Cat's the one that said it.
Yeah. He's like, I'm buying all the stock.
Yeah. He said he referenced Big Cat. I think Big Cat's the one that said it first.
That's awesome.
If you're selling
And
Herbert
it just
stock,
makes me love him even more. Like, just come figure it out. Go interview Jim Harbaugh.
Do you remember who said that? And again, he ended up winning after a couple of down years after he even said it. But Theo said that about Schwarber way back in the day.
Yeah.
If you're selling your Schwarber stock, I'm buying it.
And then we ended up selling it.
And then
you gave it away.
Well, Theo left, and that was again a Jed move where they just DFA'd him. Or it wasn't a DFA, but they didn't pick up his last.
They declined
year.
his option.
And listen, I'm very much guilty of a hot take, but that was like that game. Herbert was bad. But again, he's a really good quarterback. And that game did shock me. I thought the Chargers were going to win that game. Texas defense
is excellent.
Because that second week 2 game where Caleb just got absolutely, demolished, They do that to a lot of guys. They did that
Yes.
to Josh Allen. They did that to Herbert. They did it to Tua. Like, that defense is legit.
I love to make excuses for Harbaugh and his team. Like, Will Dissly is directly responsible for at least one of the interceptions.
Well, and the other thing is and it's hard to do this once you get in the playoffs, but they overachieved. Like, that wasn't supposed to be their season. Similar to the Broncos. Like, the Broncos, if you're a Broncos fan, you got to be like, that was an awesome season. Yeah, we got killed in the playoffs, but
if you're the Chargers,
have a quarterback too.
Yeah, right.
You say
if you're the Chargers, T. Higgins, that's I'm going to add T. Higgins.
Yep.
I'm going to add a tight end that can make a difference.
Couple
if
interior
possible.
linemen, and you're ready to go.
Yeah. Did you find the audio?
I sent it to Tyler.
All right, Mellor,
Meller's
give me a
just
high
in there
sign.
taking shots at you.
Yeah, Miller's probably on Twitter right now, just replying on his burner accounts.
That's where you're getting all the hate from. It's only Mellor. He's the only one. Do you? By the way, do you think Bills and Ravens will live up to the hype?
Yes.
Who do you like?
My heart is with the Bills. I want the Bills to win. I would love to see we're going to the Super Bowl. If you had to say what would be the dream Super Bowl in terms of fan bases, it's Bills Lions. I think you guys would agree in terms of partying in
that
New
would be
Orleans
cool. Yeah,
and just both teams not been there forever.
Oh, that
Lions
would be
never
cool.
been there.
Where's your ticket? Your ticket is on who?
I haven't placed a ticket yet. I do think the Ravens are a better team, but Josh Allen could be Superman. That's really what it comes down to. He's going to have to put that team on his back. The Ravens defense is better than the Bills defense, but he is that type of guy where I think it's going to live up to the hype. I think it's going to be an incredible game.
I agree with Big Cat.
Yeah.
That's Harbaugh.
Can I hear the whole thing?
I agree with Big Cat. From when he said, if you're the way he said it, I'm probably paraphrasing this, but Big Cat said, if you're selling Justin Herbert's stock, then he's buying. I completely concur with that statement.
Love it.
I think you've had a good day. You've had a good day when Jim Harbaugh's referencing you.
I texted him. I was like, thank you so much, coach. Appreciate it. And then I realized my last text to him was he asked to see a picture of my kids, and I sent it to him. And he just replied, the boys have a great head size for football. My 1 and 5-year-old. He was judging their head sizes.
By the way, do you know that Jim Harbaugh played for the Bears?
Yes, that's right.
He was Waddle's quarterback.
They play in Arlington Heights?
Yeah.
Yes, that's where we played. No question. Yeah. We played on the inside of that track that used to be there.
So I have an idea, by the way, for the Arlington Heights. You want to hear it?
Yes.
I think they should figure out a way to make the stadium and then put a horse track around the stadium. This
is my buddy Berger's idea.
And then
simultaneously.
And then all the seats in the back row are swivel. So instead of at the Bulls game when they do, the Dunkin' Donuts race, they do actual horse race, and everyone has a ticket, and it's you win something from that. You get a free beef if the 2-horse wins. Tell me that doesn't work.
I love it. I think it's great.
My buddy Berger said that they never should have gotten rid of the racetrack, and they should have done the races while the football game is going on.
Yes. Max, we all have no attention span anymore.
Yes.
Because of TikTok and Twitter. Yeah, so we can do both. Absolutely.
I love that. Yeah. All right, any other secrets you want to disclose on ours since we've been so good to you?
I put a future on the Eagles.
That's not a secret.
I'm just telling you right now.
Any books? Have you read a book during Pardon My Take?
I have not. I'm trying to read one book this year.
Yeah, I heard that. That's one of your goals.
I'm going to read one book this
year.
Have
you zeroed in on which one?
Have not zeroed in on which one. It's going to be a process. It's going to take a while.
Do you have a theme that you're looking to?
No, I just need a book. I like to read Michael Lewis books because I know they always end up being movies, so then I can tell people, the book was better than the movie. That's literally the only reason. Yeah. I've read Moneyball, Big Short.
Liar's Poker.
Yeah, there you go. I read that book. You read that book? You don't even know what it's about.
Thought it was your own autobiography.
Yeah,
right?
It is, actually.
Yeah. Oh, look at Miller.
He's got to take all the shots.
Yeah.
He's behind the glass.
Dino Cicerelli over there.
Tough guy behind the glass.
He's in the penalty box.
Dude, if you guys are going to go soft on him, somebody on the show has to bring him up.
You did it.
Fantastic.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Take a shot at Big Cat before he leaves.
No, I put $500 in Tyler's pocket when I walked up. I was like, I know that
anyone who hates Coach K, we're on the same team.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Yeah. You liked his idea. I saw you tweeting yesterday during the show, Tyler.
All right, blind squirrel found a nut.
The super conference, Big East and ACC. How about my guy Cooper Flagg? By the way,
he's really good.
He is.
It would be great if the Bulls could find a way into.
Stop yourself.
Why?
They're not going to.
Yeah, I know they're going to get the 10 seed. They're locked in,
and then they're going to lose their pick, and they're not going to make the playoffs.
If we get in the lottery, we could maybe not lose our pick. Isn't it top 10? Yeah.
So they could be the 12th pick, lose their pick, and
I'd
not
rather
make
have
the
a
playoffs.
chance. You never know. They might just rig it for us.
Well, right. I'd rather be in the lottery.
Yeah, I'd rather be in the lottery.
Come on,
Cooper
Mel.
Flag.
I can hear you got a Celtics question. Or
Oh,
thought.
yeah, go ahead, Mel.
No.
I'm taking off my
He
headphones.
goes way back. His uncle was friends with Phil Jackson, so
He was actually.
diehard Bulls fan.
It was a master class on how you use the dead uncle in the story.
Well, he sadly died. What the heck you want me to say? He died. I almost swore.
I did have this great connection with my uncle
when he
who
died.
By the way, it was really a tragedy.
Sorry, some of us don't take days off when our family members die.
Did you produce
Unlike
his death
me.
certificate?
Yeah, I got it
Okay.
for you. You
Thank
want
you.
it?
Just want
You
to
go
make sure.
to Grant Park, you can see what he built. He worked in real estate. No big deal.
Yeah, he was friends with Phil.
He was friends with Phil.
Phil Jackson coached the Bulls,
He
by
did.
the way.
He did. He coached
was
and the
after
Lakers.
Doug Collins.
And the Lakers.
Yeah.
And he was, I actually think people know him most for being the GM of the Knicks.
Before you bail, Big Cat,
Yeah.
the silliest thing in your confession
Yeah.
was that you were a Cubs fan partially because you were on
Yeah.
the Cubs in
I have the
Little
picture of
League.
that. You want to see it?
No, I buy it. I was on the Orioles in Little League. That doesn't make me
Oh,
a fan of Brooks
the other
Robinson.
thing was I was able to watch Cubs games because of WGN.
Okay,
And I
that's
watched Braves
cool.
games, too.
That is much more viable than.
No, I said that. I
No,
watched
I know
Braves
you
games
did,
too.
but wrapping it up, and I was also a member of the Cubs in
I
Little
loved
League.
that was my
hilarious.
best season. I peaked as an athlete when I was 8 years old.
We all
That was
did,
it.
yeah. Except
Well,
Waddle. You know.
Waddle, he still hasn't peaked.
I haven't. You want the jersey?
No, I don't want the
Okay,
jersey.
you sure?
All right, I love you guys.
We love
See
you.
ya.
Me too.